What is up, YouTube? It's RSMario here, bringing you another Legend of Zelda Wii U video. That's right, I'm back at the old school stuff. Well, not really old school. I did a Zelda video a while back. But yeah, of course, I said I was going to continue doing Zelda videos. And so I did a little analysis of the map. I did a little looking around. And, you know, it looks like the next set of videos I'm going to be doing is going to involve the map. I'm going to veer away from more of my story-based stuff. I'll still do some story-based videos, but a lot of them are going to be based on the map, the topography, and the geography of what we could see in The Legend of Zelda Wii U. So let's get started. So this one, I was looking at the map, and I did a little Google, some searching around the web, and I found there are a lot of different points of interest on the map that, of course, they weren't talked about in anything, but we're going to hop into them today. So first off, we're going to start off in the northeastern corner of the map. It seems to be like a lake that's shaped like a skull. Now, we do know that, you know, this could very well be, you know, somehow associated with Death Mountain. Death Mountain will be in the game. We did kind of sort of see Death Mountain in the distance in the gameplay video. So I don't think Death Mountain is in that direction, though. I think Death Mountain is actually in the other direction. I'm going to get into later. But yeah, there is a lake shaped like a skull. Now this is a bit north of where we think the Zora's domain is. So we know it doesn't have anything to do with the Zora. You know, it could be maybe this is a boss battle. You know, maybe somehow you have to cross the water to that little island right there, which is the eye of the skull, and you know, kind of fight a boss maybe. Next we have a little bit southeast of that is a kind of a swirly, kind of panhandle like landmass. Now it seems to kind of swirl around, and it seems to be, of course, water, you know, and so this is definitely a pretty unique landmass. And I don't think it's just made that way, you know, just to be like that. It could be part of a puzzle, you know, maybe something where you have to run around the landmass and try to get to a specific place in a specific time, or maybe, you know, maybe what you need to cross deep water is in the center of this thing. I don't know, but it's definitely, it's weird shaped for a reason. It's definitely there for a reason. The next spot we're going to check out is this chasm here. Now we're going a little bit to, well, way over to the west, just northeast of what I think is Death Mountain. And there's a huge chasm. Now I don't think this is just a chasm. I think this is actually a valley. One thing you can notice about the map of Zelda Wii U is the topography, or how things kind of look. Now the bright areas are elevated areas, so more likely they're mountains or elevated plateaus that you have to kind of climb to get to. And the darker areas are valleys and low-lying areas. So this could be a giant chasm, or this could be a valley. Now if this really is a valley, that would be pretty interesting, because that would mean this is probably Gerudo Valley. And that Gerudo Valley has been moved from its previous location, which would disconnect it from other games. We also see there's a slightly elevated point right in the center of the top of this valley, which is at the most northwestern point of it. So maybe that is where the Gerudo live. You know, I don't know. But it also seems like this valley cuts off the whole northwestern corner of the map. As you see right above where that, you know, that slightly elevated area is a big white area, which is probably a mountain that you probably can't pass. And then the chasm goes from that mountain all the way down to what I assume is probably the end of the map. So it acts more of like an invisible wall, keeping you from whatever that area is. So maybe that area you can't traverse until you get some specific item or something like that in the game. Next we have, there's some island masses, specifically these two right out here out in the east, and there's also a very large island in the southeast of the map as well. Now we see that the water actually changes color here, because now the lighter colored water is shallow water and the dark blue water is deep water, so this is like sea water, you know. And I'm assuming that those light spots are shallow water. Maybe they're like a sandbar or something where the water is less deep in these parts, and maybe you have to get here. Maybe they're very small islands. But the main thing I'm worried about is that big island in the southeast. It has to be a connection in some way. Maybe it's like the Skull Island. Maybe it's, you know, a boss battle. Maybe there's a puzzle. Maybe there's something out there. Maybe it's DLC. You know, it could be like Skyrim, what they did with Solstein. Even though I hope not. I hope they don't put DLC on the map. You know, if anything, I'll get into what could be DLC just a little bit later. Next one we have is more closer to the center of the map. We have what seems to be a big lake. Now this one is a pretty big body of water. It's actually bigger than what we think Lake Hylia is, which is in the south, a little bit southwest or just south of the center of the map. This lake is a pretty huge lake, and it actually has tiny islands in it. So of course there's gotta be some way to cross water. You know, either they'll give you some Jesus boots like Skyrim, or maybe you get a boat, or maybe like in the last video you get some type of animal. Maybe you get like a turtle or something, you know, that allows you to cross, you know, shallow water to get to these islands. Or maybe you can possibly even swim. But yeah, definitely those islands actually, they will have some sort of meaning. It could be like a puzzle where you find some item. I wouldn't be surprised if the item needed to cross deep water is not involved with these islands in some way. You know, maybe you have to use your, you know, your skills in crossing, you know, shallow water to get the item you need to cross the sea in order to get to the island in the southeast. You know, that would be interesting, backtracking to go forward. That's a Metroid thing right there. And the next point of interest we have is just to the far west of the map. We see, it looks like a mountain. It's a big elevation, and it has a huge black dot in it. So now we know the darker colors are basically for less elevated areas. So that would mean this was a mountain with a giant hole in it. So now this could be Death Mountain, and this is the place I think where Death Mountain is. Now if that's the case, then what is up with this big unelevated area, this big black spot here? I'm thinking that this is probably this could be where the final boss fight takes place. Now we do know Death Mountain is kind of famous for being like the final the place where you meet Ganon and things like that for the final battle in some Zelda games. But this is this has to be where you meet, you know, the final boss of this game. You know, also some people are saying it could be a portal to like maybe another realm. Maybe you go to the Twilight Realm. I kind of doubt it, but it could be a portal to somewhere else. Or, you know, it could involve time travel. This game could involve time travel. Maybe this is where you travel through time at Death Mountain. It could be any number of things. But that's about it for this video. The next set of videos are going to be going more in depth into various different locations. I'm definitely looking into. I want to talk about that red area right there. You see, tons of stuff I see on this map. I can definitely exploit and talk about. But that's about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, keep it real.